Welcome to this month's Cozy Mystery Book Club interview. I was the January author, and I am interviewing the February author. So I'm going to go ahead and open up with Sarah's bio. USA Today bestselling author Sarah Biglow is a lawyer, TV addict, wife, and mother. She is the author of the Seasons of Magic urban fantasy series and 3 paranormal series co-written with Molly Zink. Sarah writes cozy mysteries under the pen name of Essie Biglow. So how are you doing today, Sarah?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. It was so neat to read that you are a lawyer. How does that affect your work?
Uh, well, not as much as you might think. Um, I haven't really found a good way to like work in legal stuff, especially in the field that I am in. I don't actually represent people. I work for a state agency here in Massachusetts. Um, I do get all kinds of weird, crazy stories that I have not been able to find a way to really work into a work of fiction, even though like I've wanted to. I've been there for over 10 years and there are lots of things that would make like really funny stories or like weird cases. I just haven't found the best way to make that into a reality. Maybe one day.
Yeah. So what do you love about the cozy mystery genre?
I like the mystery itself. I think that's a fun genre and trope. Even the other stuff that I write had generally has a mystery element of some sort to it. So I do like being able to like put the pieces together and come up with clues and red herrings and that kind of stuff. I do like the kind of small town setting that you generally get with a cozy. I grew up in a small ish suburban area, so it's kind of fun to do that. Where I grew up, it was not super walkable, so I like to make my towns easily navigable by foot, especially as someone who is visually impaired and had to rely on other people to get me places. I kind of like to give my heroines the freedom to get around by themselves.
Oh, I love that. I would love a walkable town. I didn't make that connection until you said it, but a lot of my books are set in like you can move around freely, whether it's at a tournament or whether it's at a sports center or whether it's in a small town. The idea of like just being able to pick up and go get your food and hang out with your friends and go home without a car just sounds so lovely to me.
Yeah, now I live in a city, so I rely on public transit, so that's nice, but it doesn't have that real like close knit feeling that you get in a good cozy.
Yeah. Well, what are some of your favorite cozies? I mean, I know that's a hard question. It's like put you on the spot, like I've got to find the favorite, but what are some of the ones that you enjoy reading and why?
So a friend of mine also writes them, Ada Bell. She does a paranormal series that I really enjoy because it mixes my two favorite things, which are the mystery and supernatural stuff. It's a really quirky character. She's got really fun world building and kind of the premise of how magic works for the characters. And she's done a really good job of like slowly building up and exploring the main character's connection to magic and how it works. Um, and she's also fun fact got a new spin-off series coming out soon that I'm very excited to read.
Oh, how neat. And how nice of you to share that with everyone. I'm sure she'll thank you for that later.
I am sure.
Getting back to your own books, which of your characters do you think are most like you and why?
I don't know that any of them are really super like me. I think when I tend to create characters, I tend to create like the people I would like to be. So like for instance, my the book that was is featured this month is the first book in a paranormal cozy series, and my main character is a witch, and she has plant magic. Um, my husband can attest. I kill every plant I even come near. So having her be able to like interact with plants and like that be her thing, I'm like, I wish I could do that. I have another series where the main character is an army chaplain, and don't let the blind person be in the military. So I don't have that connection, but in that series, it was kind of the way that she acted as a minister to her small town and in solving the mysteries that she was solving. It was kind of, this is what I wish kind of faith and interfaith existence should look like. Kind of my aspirations for the world. And then my last series was just kind of, it was born out of my kind of nerdiness at the time, back in 2015-ish. So I was really big. I had like just gone to Comic-Con for the first time. So I was really into like gaming and stuff. And so I made her run a comic book shop. So I got to like have that stuff kind of be front and center. So it's more like my characters are parts of me that I wish were different.
Yeah. Was the research for that series really fun?
Yeah. I mean, there's a scene that happens in the first book where the main character and the police detective, who is her love interest, play zombie dice. So that was that was pretty entertaining. But when I actually was at Comic-Con with a friend, we literally like sat in line for panels playing that.
Speaking of which, what are some creative hobbies you have outside of writing?
Admittedly, mostly just watching TV. Yeah. With a 3-year-old, I don't have a ton of time for other stuff, but I love me some TV. I enjoy a good procedural. I just picked up Criminal Minds again. I had like it had gotten like too weird and dark for a while, so I gave up on it. But now I came back. I really liked the new season that happened. I'm watching The Order on Netflix right now, which is kind of a sci-fi fantasy stuff. That tends to be the kind of thing I really like, especially again, if there's like a mystery element to it. And then you got your, I watch everything that comes along with Chicago in front of it. So Fire, PD, Med, all of those. I love them.
I love that. I love that the genre. You just picked a town and you're like, everything that happens in this town, I'm watching. And obviously you played some tabletop games.
Not so much anymore. I mean, I do love a good game of Cards Against Humanity. That is always fun. The more, adult version of like apples to apples. My husband and I used to once upon a time play card games, but again, 3-year-old makes that a little difficult. So these days we play Candyland.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I have a young son who's moving from a young son to a, young man. And it changed a lot of things. Like we just tried to do a puzzle recently and he wanted to play, but it's a 1,000-piece puzzle. So the playing
Oh,
was a little different than we're like, okay, we're going to flip them all over. And he loses interest. And then he,
goes off and does something else.
right. He had a different way to play with it. He's like, I should take them all and make a big pile. And we're like, okay, maybe,
Maybe don't do that.
yeah, maybe this is not a game
For you yet.
for you yet. So,
Yeah, no, my son does the same thing. We have these floor puzzles that are really cool that he likes, but he'll get into it for like a little bit and then he'll lose interest and be like, okay, I'm gonna go off and do something else.
yeah.
Kids are weird.
It is, and it's probably changed. Has it changed your writing process a lot, or trying to get to the writing process, maybe?
Yeah. Yeah. That is the biggest thing I have struggled with is kind of getting into a stable habit and routine around all of his needs and his schedule and working a full-time job. So that has been a continual work in progress for the last almost 4 years.
Yeah, yeah. It's a big adjustment. And you have a lot of different. You're in a couple different genres,
Yep.
and you have a writing partner. What has led you to do so many different things and write in so many different ways?
Uh, Poor planning a little bit.
Oh,
uh, Back when I was really first getting into publishing, I kind of just wrote whatever I wanted, whatever kind of came to me. And as I have tried to move towards more of a business focused way of treating my writing, I realized that I kind of needed to compartmentalize. So in 2021, I think, yeah, I think it was 2021, I made the split to actually separate my fantasy books from my cozies, which is how I have a pen name now. But back in 2018, Molly and I had known each other for almost a decade at that point. We had shared a literary agent briefly in the past, and we decided there was a multi-author box set that was put out by someone who, they were looking to hit the USA Today bestseller list. And we decided, hey, why don't we, we both kind of like to write similar things. Why don't we try doing that? And we ended up writing 3 full series in the last 5 or 6 years. So,
Wow. So when you look at across your work, in what ways are your different series similar? Are they different? Is there a Sarah element that we will see across all your work?
um, a little bit of like a kind of a social justice sort of sprinkling in a lot of stuff. Um, most of my characters do end up having some sort of element of like either like family is really important or like found family. Um, that's really kind of connective across both of my genres. Um, my tagline for my cozies is, smart women, cozy mysteries. So I like to think that my characters are relatively intelligent. With this new series that's paranormal, it's more similar, I guess, in the fact that it's most of the stuff that I write that's urban fantasy tends to be sort of in a supernatural mystery kind of vein. My 2 biggest series are a cop and an FBI agent who are witches. So, biggest difference though with the cozies, my fantasy characters like to swear a lot. And that is a big no-no in cozy. So I have to be super mindful of when I'm writing. I'm like, oh, there's been times where I'm like, oh, would love to have dropped some sort of curse word there, and I know I can't.
Mm-hmm. If people were interested in the other series, can you just name the series and then kind of tell us you would recommend this for someone who wants a little more action, who has a little saltier language,
Yeah,
who likes vampires or whatever? Can you just kind of run that through your work and tell us
yeah.
about it?
So my main urban fantasy series is called Seasons of Magic. It's a 4-book series. It follows the main character, who is a police detective and a witch, and she's also the savior of the magical community. And so it follows her across 4 different cases. Each one takes place during a different season, cleverly enough. But yeah, if you're into more action, that kind of stuff, definitely that series. And there's already a spin-off trilogy in that same world with one of the secondary characters. So that's actually wrapping up in a couple months. And if you are into like the Paranormal Academy genre, Molly and I have a 4-book Paranormal Academy series called Celestial Academy. That one is really fun. It takes a lot of sort of your typical angels and demons lore and kind of flips it on its head a little bit. We're actually launching a Kickstarter for that one in March to do a limited edition hardcover. So that's exciting that that's coming up. We also have a vampire paranormal romance series that has been published by a small press that is out, that also has really kind of fun world building and kind of changes the what you would expect to be like the rules of how vampires operate. So
Awesome.
that's most of my fantasy stuff.
So tell us about the projects that you have. What's coming next after this? What is on the way for you?
So I have the next book, book 4 in my Brookhaven Paranormal Cozy series coming out in August. It's called High Hopes. And we get to learn a little bit more about my main character Darcy's family in that one, which is kind of cool. I also have a Kickstarter for that series coming in October. Readers will be able to get books 5 and 6 ahead of general release. Those 2 books won't be out until 2024. So I'm very much looking forward to being able to give people advance access. And this is only the first half of that series. There are 6 books beyond that for a total of 12 that are coming. I also have a Arthurian reimagining series that I am kicking off in June with a Kickstarter. That is slated to be a 15-book series. It is tied to my Seasons of Magic universe, so it's expanding, and that's pretty much it. I'm looking forward to April when I get to actually write Darcy number 4.
Oh, nice.
Because I had a blast writing number 3, which just came out a couple weeks ago.
Great. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So if people read the book, this month's book club selection, and enjoyed it, where can they get in touch with you? How can they find out everything you're doing?
You can head over to my website, which is www.sarah, and that's SARAH hyphen Biglow, BIGLOW.com. You can also find me on Facebook. I think it's facebook.com/Sarah Biglow author. If you got High Noon this month, there may be a sign up for my newsletter at the back of it. If not, there is definitely a sign up for my newsletter on my website. You would actually get the prequel short story for one of my other cozy series as a thank you gift for signing up. And those are probably the best ways to get in touch and stay abreast of what I'm doing.
Great. Well, that was so neat to get to know you more. Do you have any last parting thoughts, things you wish I had asked, or anything like that?
No, I'm just sad that we didn't get to interview you last month.
Oh yeah. Well, Zara did get a chance to talk to me, but I didn't. It's wonderful to get to meet you this month and to get to talk to you.
Yes, I am very excited for the book club and getting to meet and hear of other awesome authors. I'm looking forward to next month when I get to be in your shoes.
Yeah, that everyone gets to come back and see you again. So
Yes.
thank you everyone for joining us and for getting to know Sarah a little better. And we will see you around the book club or keep an eye out for our newsletters. Okay, bye.
Bye, guys.